Yes, we still have the moving box background, but I just had to tell you about this film because I really loved it. Welcome to my movie review of Air. Welcome back, or if you are new here, welcome. My name is Katrina and I make bookish content here on this channel every week, and then movie reviews just like this one here at the weekend. All of my movie reviews are spoiler free, and I will leave a playlist of my recent reviews linked up above in case you are looking for something to watch this weekend or week. Apologies that it's a little bit echoey. I haven't unpacked my mic yet and we're in quite an empty room, so it is what it is. Yes, I went to see Air, which is the sort of biopic of when Nike and Michael Jordan partnershiped together to make the Air Jordans that are now so famous and so popular. And yes, so I'm a little bit of a lazy movie watcher as much as I'm a lazy reader, in that I love when a film is set somewhere that I have been. And so in these sort of opening sequences, like A, we're like tracking back to the 80s, but B, it shows shots of the like Nike headquarters in Beaverton. I'm like, I've been there. I stayed in Beaverton, drove past that like intersection quite a lot on a daily basis as we were moving about places, and so I appreciated that. And some of the people in the film are very much like typical kind of like they're definitely from Oregon type people, and I really enjoyed that. And then we have like reference to the shoe dog Phil Knight, the guy that is, you know, the founder of Nike, and kind of his portrayal by Ben Affleck in the film was just fabulous. I haven't read Shoe Dog, but I've been sort of aware of it, and obviously he kind of pops up in quotes for other things as well. And so it was interesting seeing him portrayed on the film. And they did that thing at the very end of the film, this isn't a spoiler, where they like compare the real person with the actor who portrayed them. Like they have them like side by side in the credits as they kind of give you the background of who's who. And I thought that that was really interesting as well, and that the people that they cast and the way the cast had portrayed those actual real life people, I thought they'd done a really good job. It was a really good balance. It was also interesting because I recently went to a trainer exhibition at the museum in Northampton, where they have the world's largest collection of shoes in a museum, or the UK's largest collection of shoes in a museum. Basically, it's a shoe museum because of the history of Northampton and shoes. If you haven't seen Kinky Boots, watch that. It explains it all. And it featured the guy... Now, I want to say Pete, who sort of designed the Air Jordan, put the prototype together. And yeah, he featured in this exhibition that I'd been to. There was a video of him talking about shoe design and talking about Nike's acquisition of Converse as well, which pops up in the film. Again, it's not a spoiler, it's real life. So that was really interesting to be able to relate those two things. But the guy played by Matt Damon, who was like the head of the talent scout, looking to look for people that Nike could work with in the old fashioned brand deal, the thing that has become like so synonymous with kind of these sports brands and sports people, as opposed to the kind of brand deals that happen today. I just hadn't heard of him at all. And so watching his story unfold throughout the movie was really interesting. And although the film is called Air and it's about the Air Jordans, it's really not about Michael Jordan. And so it's not a sports film. It's definitely a biopic, but more of a biopic of how Nike landed this huge collaboration that really put them on the map and made them have that bigger market share than they already had. So yeah, it was just really, really interesting. And, you know, normally I would save this for the end of the video, but I already want to go and watch it again. I already want to kind of take different people to go and see it, because I saw it on my own, and I would really like to go and see it again with other people. So that would be really interesting to do. But yeah, I think the portrayal of the characters was really good. I think they avoided it being too much about Michael Jordan by basically not having a big name playing Michael Jordan, but really barely showing Michael Jordan on the screen at all. And so much was controlled by his parents when it came to brand deals, which was the case with a lot of these athletes who were being offered these partnerships with the big brands and with the sports names. So much of it was done whilst they were still in high school or going to college or just having graduated college. And so much of the deal was done by their parents. And so they really were background players. They played the sport. They were the superstars on the basketball court. However, they were not necessarily part of the legal side of things or part of the decision being made, and this was something that was kind of brought up in the film as well. And so Viola Davis plays Michael Jordan's mom, and she has a much bigger part to play because she's dealing with these meetings and meeting with Sonny, the guy played by Matt Damon. And so I really liked that, because I think that if they'd just gone with like Michael Jordan being Michael Jordan and being front and center on the screen for this story, the story would have been more about him and not about this history of this partnership. The fact that you can make a whole feature-length film about the partnership, about the back and forth and the decision making that went into the Michael Jordan, Nike's, Air Jordans partnership says a whole lot to begin with. But I just found the ins and outs and the intricacies and the moments when it could have all gone a different way. There was so many moments where a decision was made, like one of those yes or no diagrams, like going down. So many where it could have been like knocked out. It could have gone a different way. And so it was really, really interesting. And it was almost like you knew how it was going to end, but you were still like, oh, is this actually going to happen? Or like, oh, surprised when something went right. And I think that it would have been nice perhaps to see a little bit more about the design of the shoe itself, just having seen that as part of the exhibition in the Shoe Museum in Northampton. But that's kind of my only criticism, really. I thought that everyone did a great job. Jason Bateman was an interesting character. I really liked the guy who played Pete. I think that he did this like unassuming working in the basement designing away type of thing, but you could tell he was this brilliant mind. He was just very, I think, yeah, just the fact that he played it so unassuming was brilliant. And then Ben Affleck's character is just kind of like so typical, like granola, barefoot in a suit type of like Oregonian Nike CEO, and I just thought that was really interesting. The guy, now I don't know his name, but he was a big player in the Mindy Project who played the kind of sports agent, just gave me like Jerry Maguire vibes. I did finish watching this film and then go, I really want to watch Jerry Maguire right now. So if you like Jerry Maguire, you'll like this film. And I think as well, if you kind of like those biopic type things where there's a bit of an underdog story, a bit like how I like my my underdog sports movie stories, then I think you will definitely like this one. I think it'll appeal to multiple audiences as well. You don't have to know a lot about basketball. You don't have to know or like Nike. You don't have to know or like Michael Jordan in order to understand this film. I definitely laughed. I cried, and I just came out like really like, okay, I've invested this amount of time in this film and it was really worthwhile. Should you pay your cinema going money to go and see this one? I think you should. It's not something that has to be seen on the big screen, but I think going and watching it and then having that discussion afterwards, or going and watching it and feeling kind of educated and fulfilled the way that I did, I think is definitely worthwhile. And so it's a hard recommend from me. I would like to go and see it again. And I think when it comes to the small screen, I will definitely be watching it as soon as I possibly can. As always, if there is a particular movie you would like me to watch this week and bring my thoughts to you here next week, then do let me know in comments. Always happy to watch on demand. If you enjoyed this video, do give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you're watching in the cinema this week. And don't forget to make sure you are subscribed and hit that notification bell so you don't miss my bookish content coming up in the week or my movie review for you next weekend. So thank you so much for watching. I will see you with my next video.